This show was not perfect by any means, and there was nothing on the show that's going to make you say, "Oh my God," except for maybe the ending. There's nothing on the show that you're going to be talking about next year, but it was a good wrestling show, and it was decent, and it's going to get a thumbs up. And I feel like for WWE, that is something that they have severely lacked in recent memory. Clash of Champions. Well, first off, we all know that titles mean complete jackass nothing in WWE, so they all flip flop. And for me, it's always been, what do you do with the title reign? Not how many times do you take it. If you have 15 title reigns and they all last 2 weeks, that's not important to me because the title's just flip flopping and you can't hang on to it. Where if you look at John Cena in 2007, he had um, he had the WWE title, which was the main title at the time, for almost the whole year, and it was a fantastic run. Same thing with CM Punk when he had the WWE title, until they set that to The Rock. But I think that generally this was a good show. It did have its mishaps, and a lot of the uninteresting things kind of happened in the beginning of the show. The new WWE Network format is absolutely fucking dreadful. This thing, it was solidly decent for quite a while, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, they changed it, and navigating through this thing is like finding your way through a jungle with fucking Stevie Wonder. It just does not work. Trying to put in your password, it's one of those where you have to individually tap the D-pad. I was using my PlayStation 4. You have to individually tap the D-pad like this to get to the next letter instead of holding it and making your way faster. It is not an iPhone, I will tell you that. That was awful. It took me forever to do that. And then you do all that, and then next thing you know, your password's wrong. I normally have auto login on my devices, but for whatever reason, I had to log back in to it, and that was a disaster. But this show was decent. I liked it. I love the ending. That was one of the best endings in recent memory, to me, at least. But the show did kick off with the Raw Tag Team titles, and I don't really have too much to say about this match. It was going to set you in the direction of setting the frustration for the main event, because Rollins and Strowman. It's just weird how you have the main event is a world title match with Rollins against Strowman, and they hold the Raw Tag Team titles together. That doesn't really make any type of sense to me, and I don't know why they put themselves in that position. But this match was okay. Was nothing really special. I don't really have much to review about this match. Roode and Gable did win the Raw Tag Team titles, and that was basically the opener of the show, and it was what it was. The next match was a little bit different. This was probably the worst match of the night. It was Bayley defending her SmackDown Women's title against Charlotte, and this match was a complete waste of time, winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. And this is just, I just don't care. I don't care. You don't care. We don't care. It was an exposed turnbuckle that she smashed Charlotte against. She used it to get the pin. And after the match, I don't know if she had time constraints or whatever it was, but she hauled ass to the back. And afterwards, Charlotte was kind of just looking around, just being Charlotte pretty much. But Bayley did retain the SmackDown's Women's title over Charlotte. This was the worst match of the night, and it was, I wouldn't say it was 5 minutes or under. I did not do a timekeeping of that. The next match, the third match of the night, this was starting to get, when the show started to progress a little bit better. The Revival ended up winning the SmackDown Tag Team titles against the New Day. And I like this match, and I think the Revival looked really good in this match. The New Day looked good as well, but the Revival definitely out wrestled, and they outdid the New Day in this match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I love the Shatter Machine. I think it's one of the best finishing moves in WWE. I liked how they progressed. The match progressed. There was a little bit of outside action, but I think generally, for the most part, this was a very good tag team match. Ended with the Shatter Machine. Well, it did not end with the Shatter Machine. The Shatter Machine was part of the ending sequence. They did the Shatter Machine, and then they wanted to be a little bit dirty and do those dirty-like tactics that the Revival always do, which is very fun to watch. They ripped part of Xavier's leg wardrobe off, and they then put him into a submission. The submission was locked in for a little bit, and the Revival ended up getting to submit Xavier Woods and preventing him from getting to the rope. And the Revival did win the SmackDown Tag title. So up to this point, both men's tag team titles were crowned new champions. I do not see the Raw Tag Team titles going back to Rollins and Strowman. There's no need for it. Same thing with SmackDown tag titles. I don't see the point in giving it back to the New Day. They've had it for a bit, and I just don't see the what's necessary in giving them back that SmackDown tag team titles. Now, the next match, we kind of regressed a little bit. It's hard for me to just care about this match. The match itself was okay. It was what it was, but I don't think the crowd was that interested, except for staring at Mandy Rose, and I think we all do that. They were not interested. They were so boring to the point where R-Truth had to come to the ring with Carmella with his 24/7 title. We're talking about Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defending the women's tag team titles against Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. This match it was okay. It went back and forth. Again, I don't have much to review about these opening matches, just based on the fact that I felt like not a lot was happening, and the second half of the show was completely outshined the first half of the show. Right, I like the ending sequence of this match, but yes, you had superstars running to the ring to get R-Truth's 24/7 title, and it's just certain things like that where it's just like, I understand the show's scripted and it's predetermined. Not everything that happens is fake, but it's just certain things like that where R-Truth has a 24/7 title, and all of a sudden there's 20 superstars right there. I think they should have certain situations where nobody chases him to make it have a little bit more of a realistic aspect to it. But then that goes as that goes. The referee was distracted and holding these superstars back from getting to the ring and disrupting the women's tag team match. And then Alexa Bliss said, screw it, why not? She went for a roll-up pin on R-Truth to secure the 24/7 title. He did kick out. The referee came back. R-Truth jumped out of the ring, put Carmella on his back, and piggybacked, and they ran through the crowd and ditched out as the superstars chased them. This match ended with Nikki Cross doing a very nice neck breaker to give Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross the SmackDown Women's titles. And I think that with this match, one of the things that they need to do is try to cement the importance of it. I didn't really see the need for R-Truth coming out with the 24/7 title. Yes, R-Truth is great. I think he's hilarious, but I don't see the aspect of where he's coming out to disrupt this match, because people didn't care about this match really to begin with. I think they need to try to do more things to keep people interested in matches like these, because I just didn't care. I really didn't care. The match had no interest to me, really. And I just think that that's something that they really need to work on going forward. But it was what it was. They retained, and I don't really see Alexa Bliss or Nikki Cross losing these titles anytime soon, really. I think that they've been decent with them. I think Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are a good team, but I don't think that I see them as tag team champions for the women's part of it. Sami Zayn, who is always great to hear on the microphone, and it's always hilarious to hear this guy come out. Sami Zayn's coming out in neck brace. He's nursing that choke slam that he got from Undertaker at the second of two shows at MSG on the closing shows of SmackDown this week when he got choke slammed. Sami Zayn's coming out in neck brace, and he is supporting Shinsuke Nakamura in his Intercontinental title defense against The Miz. Sami Zayn in the beginning of this match was talking on the microphone, and I don't know why, but whatever it is, it just takes away from the match. Anytime somebody's talking on the microphone during a match, especially in the beginning, it's distracting, and it's not interesting. I love hearing Sami Zayn on the mic. He's fucking hilarious, but it just distracts me, and I can't tune in to the match, and it's just too many things going on in my head and my brain trying to process like 15 different things. You could probably ask, how the hell do you do that with commentary? But commentary is a little bit different. You're kind of used to the obliterating and ear-bleeding commentary that is WWE, which has not improved much. So yeah, that's basically that. His mic does get cut off a little bit early after talking for a little bit. This match was run-of-the-mill. It was a basic match. There was nothing to this match that cemented it as holy shit or whatever you want to do. Miz chases Sami Zayn outside for a little bit during this match. He then gets smacked in the head with Shinsuke Nakamura's kick. Nakamura throws him in the ring, a little bit going on, and he hits him with a Kinshasa, and as you expected, Shinsuke would retain the Intercontinental title and cement this match. This match was really nothing special. I think Sami Zayn is cool. I liked hearing him cut a little bit of a promo before the match, and if I'm correct, he did throw shots at the Panthers, who lost their game in week 2. They're now 0-2, and they lost it Thursday night, which was the first game of the week. The NFL review will be coming, by the way, tomorrow. that was that. And then the next match was probably the best match of the night, in my opinion. I love both of these women, but I don't know. Becky Lynch is starting to kind of rub off on me in a bad way. Her whole run after getting her nose broken by Nia Jax was great, but I just think it's starting to kind of turn back. Sasha, since she comes back, has been complete gold, even working with Bayley. Sasha versus Becky Lynch. This match was a regular match. Sasha is my wife, if you don't know. She just doesn't know it yet. But this was for the Raw Women's title, and this was actually a regular match, but it did not end regularly, and it wasn't treated as such. This was a good match. Sasha and Becky was, like I said, the best match of the night. Sasha got to a point where she was using a chair against Becky Lynch, and then she did get caught. It was stopped. Becky Lynch went to swing the chair at Sasha Banks. She missed Sasha. She ducked and hit the referee, and that's when the match just went all over the place. It started going outside. They were going through the concourse, outside, up and above, and this match was pretty much everywhere. There were a lot of matches on the show that went outside the ring and doing different things, and that's something that they normally don't, I feel like they don't utilize normally on ring, and that chair continued to play a factor in this match. The way this match ended was very good. Sasha was in the ring, and Becky Lynch did use a disarm her. She trapped her arm in the chair and used a disarm her, pulling up, and I imagine that if she was applying actual pressure, that would be very painful. That's not something that I would be interested in, but you know, the match was ruled disqualification because we all watched the match, but one referee knocked out changes everything. So in theory, as you guys know the rule, Becky Lynch got disqualified, meaning Sasha is credited with the win. However, a title cannot change on disqualification unless it is notified previously before the match. But the regular rule, if nothing is said, is that the title cannot change hands in disqualification. So Becky Lynch does retain the Raw Women's title. I guess this was a decent way to end the match, considering the fact that you wanted them to both look good. You didn't want any of them to eat a pinfall. So Becky Lynch retains. This was the best match of the night, in my opinion. There were quite a few good matches on the show, and right after this is when it starts to really kick up. I like this match, and I think it was the best match on the show. Next up was a match that I wasn't really interested in, but it had some aspects in it that I really did enjoy. It was Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton for the WWE title, and I need to say this first. Kofi Kingston should not be WWE champion. It has nothing to do with skin color. It has nothing to do with race. There have been plenty of African-American male athletes in WWE that have deserved to be champion. I think Booker T was a good WWE champion. I think Cedric would be a good champion if he was promoted from that aspect. Even Shelton Benjamin, not so much now because he's older and he's had injuries, but just in general, I don't see it. I understand they had the whole thing where he was having that Cinderella-like run against Daniel Bryan. They should have never took the title off of Daniel Bryan. They should have never took the title off of him. He was red hot when he had the title. And they chose to give it to Kofi Kingston out of a thing where even Big E went on Twitter and said, you know, black men don't make it far in our company, whatever. I can't speak. I'm not a black individual, so I'm going to stay out of that conversation. But him winning the title was great, but it's getting to a point now where it's just not believable. Kofi Kingston has talent. He's a wrestler. He should have a championship, but it is not the WWE championship. I'm sorry. Randy Orton losing to Kofi Kingston clean is not believable no matter which year we are in. I don't know how many times I have to say it. He should not have this title. Overall, this match was alright, but it went a little bit longer than I expected, but when it's all said and done, it was a WWE Championship match. Late in the match, Randy Orton hit him with an RKO, and I don't know why, especially someone like Randy Orton, who's smart and one of the best superstars of all time. He's been in the company for over 15 years. I don't know why he doesn't know any better to take Kofi Kingston after his finisher, drag him to the center of the ring, and go for the pinfall. They do these finishers, and they are a millimeter away from the friggin' rope. You know he's going to put his foot up at 2. It's just predictable and run-of-the-mill. But Kofi Kingston gets his foot up after Randy Orton goes for his RKO pinfall. And that was that. And a little bit more for the match, Randy Orton was trying to get into that diabolical mind of his. And he was using... Randy Orton was going for a punt in this match. Kofi Kingston dodges it. I don't even know the last time Randy Orton hit the punt. I remember the time he hit it on Vince McMahon. I was a lot younger, and it was scary as shit. But... Randy Orton goes for the punt. He misses. turns around, trouble in paradise, and Kofi Kingston retains. I just don't think he should have the WWE title anymore. I really don't. I mean, I like Kofi Kingston, but it's just not there. I'm sorry. It's really, like, I know they want to do him a good deed. He's been in the company for a while at the bottom, sinking in mediocrity, but it's just not there. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with skin color whatsoever. I think he's extremely talented, and he is definitely United States champion. I think that I don't know what happens after he loses his title. I don't really know what their plans would be for Kofi Kingston, particularly after losing this championship. The second to last match is usually the death spot in any WWE pay-per-view, but this match was actually decent. Roman Reigns took on Eric Rowan, who was conceived to be the attacker. This was a predetermined and planned no disqualification match, and I guess it's warranted considering everything that these guys have kind of gone through in this whole situation here. It started early. Roman Reigns didn't even wait for Eric Rowan to get into the ring. He just kind of went right at him and attacked him. Rowan was utilizing the steel steps a lot in this match. There was also a point where Roman Reigns got powerbombed onto the table. And then the closing sequences of this match were Roman Reigns was on the entrance ramp. This was all through the concourse as well. 90% of this match was outside of the ring. And there were about 3 or 4 other matches that had the same outcome where they were outside of the ring. But you expected that from this match. This was a no DQ match. But they were on the entrance ramp, and Roman Reigns was dialing up. One of the nastiest spears is the one where he dashes down the ramp, and he hits the spear from that. And all of a sudden, he gets big booted, and it wasn't by Eric Rowan because Eric Rowan was down in days. It was by Luke Harper, who came back to Eric Rowan's aid. I don't know if they're forming another tag team again. I don't think so. They're probably just going to be supporting of each other. But Luke Harper was gone for about 4 months, and he did come back and give him a big boot to help Rowan. Brought Reigns back into the ring, hit him with another spinning clothesline. Eric Rowan did his finisher, and he got the pin, and Eric Rowan got the victory over Roman Reigns. It's no disqualification, all within the rules. It was great to see Luke Harper back. I think he's severely underutilized in WWE, and I really like Luke Harper, and I think I speak for almost everyone when I say the same thing, that Luke Harper has been severely under. I always remember that match with him and Randy Orton at Elimination Chamber. It was one of my favorite matches, believe it or not, about 2-3 years ago. But they need to start doing things with Luke Harper, and I want to know what this is going to bring next. I guess we'll have to wait till SmackDown, but that was good as well. The main event of the show was Seth Rollins taking on Braun Strowman for the Universal title. And I looked up a stat actually prior to this recording. Braun Strowman has been in 7 Universal title matches in the last 2 years, I think, and he's 0 for 7. So if there's anybody that can't complain about opportunity, it's Braun Strowman. I don't really know if they're going to ever see gold on this guy. I think he's good, but there's just something missing about Braun Strowman. He was so hot when he came into the company, but it's just, whatever it is, it's missing. It's just missing. This match was very fast-paced in the beginning, not your typical Braun Strowman match. They were kind of each trading with each other, and it was back and forth, toehold, and Braun Strowman went flying over the table. I can only imagine what that looks like, being a commentator in that position. I want to say that was the right side commentator table. He then had Braun Strowman on the table outside the ring, and Seth Rollins went up, and it was looking like he was going to do his Shawn Michaels-like elbow drop. Carlos Cabrera said, "Fuck it, I'm dipping." He took up, and he jumped at the other side of the barricade because he was not taking no shit here, folks. No shit. The Spanish announce team might not speak fluent English. I'm going to assume they speak fluent English. If they're an announce team for Spanish, they obviously speak fluent Spanish, but I would think they have to be fluent English as well. I think anybody that's on an announce team in a specific language is probably bilingual, if you ask me. But that spot did not happen. There was a spot on the top rope where you saw Seth Rollins trying to suplex Braun Strowman, and you know that at any planet besides Earth, maybe he would be able to do it. That was not going to happen here. And then it was just a barrage of curb stomps, and it was 1 curb stomp, kick out at 1, 2 curb stomp, kick out at 1, 3rd curb stomp, kick out at 2.5. and he finally hit that fourth curb stomp and shut shit down. Seth Rollins retains the Universal title to close out the show, and the best part of the show and one of the best endings in recent memory to a WWE product. Seth Rollins is on the entrance ramp. The trademark logo is coming on in the bottom of the screen. He holds up the Universal title, and all of a sudden, the lights go off. It's quiet for about a second and a half, and we hear the Bray Wyatt entrance scream screeches. This was absolutely fucking epic. I love seeing this. It went quiet for a minute. All of a sudden, Bray Wyatt was out there. He had control of Seth Rollins. He gave him Sister Abigail, which is a beautiful finisher. Then the lights came back on. They did the flashing lights, which looked great with Bray Wyatt in that awesome mask. And he was choking out Seth Rollins to end the show. Bray Wyatt coming out to that entrance theme was absolutely epic. It closed out the show. The show went off the air. That was fucking beautiful. It's really hard to believe that Bray Wyatt is one of the hottest things in WWE right now, and it's really, really hard to believe that we won't see maybe a Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt match at Hell in a Cell next month. I'd be really looking forward to that, and it would shock me if Bray Wyatt does not win the WWE title by the end of the year. I just want to know how that would work, because he has not spoken much since he's had the mask on. But that was absolutely an awesome ending to the show. The show overall was solidly good. It wasn't perfect. The show itself, there weren't maybe any matches you'll be talking about a year from now, but the ending was definitely something I think that you'll remember. And I enjoyed this show. My NFL Sunday was fucking ruined, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, I really did enjoy this show, and I think that it was a good step for WWE, considering that their main shows throughout the week have been garbage. But overall, I give Clash of Champions a thumbs up, and I love the ending, and I just think that it was good. It was good stuff, and I think that if you get a chance to go back and watch some of the matches, I would. And I normally don't say that about WWE products, but it is definitely something that you should check out, especially that ending. But thanks for watching the Clash of Champions review. I'll try to do more wrestling stuff on this channel as well. I want to branch it outside of more than just football, but I did enjoy this show for the most part, and I hope you did as well. Thank you for watching.